Hello and welcome to Pantheon of the Geeks. You join us for an unboxing video. Today we have the Warhammer Underworld Shadespire add-ons, everything that's come out today. We have the dice, we've got the green, we got the purple, and we've even got the red and the blue for Class 2 crews that we unboxed last week before, I can't remember when it was.
Some time ago.
Yeah, last week.
Sometime in the distant past.
And then we have the card backs for both these new sets. And then we have the two new sets, which will be my two. So we'll stick these guys together, we'll open the box, have a look, stick them together, and see what they look like. Where shall we start?
Ooh.
Undead.
Scallybobs.
Controversial. Alright. Right.
You've got the seal
Oh,
inside.
the seal! Have you got that knife?
I have, yes.
Yeah. We've probably got tearing into it. From my excitement. There is the box. Come in these like very different from normal Unbox boxes because of like the hanger things at the top.
Yeah, they're like a little.
It feels like an expansion pack rather than just say expansion pack on it, but it feels like, you know, an expansion pack shit for the game.
It feels like something like Fantasy Flight.
Yeah. Or X-Wing or something more like that. So we have inside the models. There we go. In this sort of bone coloured plastic. So again, you don't have to paint them. These should all be snap fit mold in theory. We'll see. We have the other sprue there. In the bottom, we have the instructions for them together, and we have the two sets of cards and the cards on there. So we'll go through them at the end. We'll move on to the Ironskulls, but for now let's start putting these guys together. See how good these are for putting together. So what have we got? We've got 20, 21 and 22. These are the parts that make up the boss. In fact, I'm going to get these, open these cards while Claire starts cutting these off. So we're back in 1 second. Okay, so the three parts. This is for the champion, who's literally just called the champion. He's three parts. The base included in one of those parts with two little holes there. Pretty straightforward to put together. Just plugs in. We have a plug there at the back. I will glue that for strength. But that's just going to sit on the front, and then those two plugs are going to be the base. That guy's going to be put together, so let's do that. Okay, just to correct myself from 2 seconds ago, this guy is the warden, not the champion. I was looking at the top guy and thought, yeah. But yeah, he is actually the warden for these guys. So that is him, he's the leader. One of the coolest models, undead models I've ever seen, especially for a skeleton.
I think we saw a picture of him, didn't we?
I think he was the first, one of the first guys I saw for this game. So next up we have this sword. What numbers are they?
We've got 9, which is the one with the sword. We've got 8, which is his back, and 10, which is the base.
So I believe this guy is a petitioner. I think there's 1, 2, 3 petitioners in this. They're all just called petitioners. Again, he's 3 parts, including the base. That's going to plug onto the front, like so, and then onto the base. So we'll get him together, and then we'll be back in a second. Okay, so there is one of the petitioners. Cool model. It's pretty much just like a standard skeleton with a few extra bits on, but he's in a very cool pose. Very easy to put together. A hell of a lot easier than putting skeleton models together anyway. So next up we have the champion. Which parts are these? That's
parts 11, 12 and 13.
Again, 3 parts. We're just going to plug in arm and sword, double-handed sword. It's going to go onto the base. And then we have the harvester,
which is parts 14, 15 and 16.
And then again we just have the base, the model of the harvester, and he's got this massive scythe. He looks pretty cool. So we'll stick these two guys together and we'll be back in a second. Okay, so there is the champion with double-handed weapon. Looks pretty cool. Would make a pretty decent actual champion in Age of Sigmar as well, which you might get used for eventually. In fact, all these models probably will get used in Age of Sigmar. Then we have the harvester. Looks pretty awesome. It's a cool stance. So we have 3 more models to put together. We'll do them all together because again they're all the same, aren't they?
Yeah. So those are parts.
That's petitioner.
5, 6 and 7.
for the petition of that. 5, 6 and 7. Then we have parts. This guy's the Prince. Where is he? I had his card a second ago in front of me. Prince of Dust. So the guy with the mace is the Prince of Dust. Again, he's 3 parts.
17, 18 and 19. And
then the last one is the petitioner that's kind of coming out of the ground, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he's got an extra part, actually. He's got a tombstone. So he is...
Parts 1, 2, 3 and 4.
And again, the tombstone's just something to plug into the base. All the other, just like all the other models, is just 2 parts plugged together. So we'll stick them together. We can have a look at the whole warband together, and then we can have a look at the cards. So there is one of the other petitioners. On camera. It's quite a cool stance he's got. Got the one coming out of the ground. And we have the Prince of Dust. Oops. I'm just going to throw him away, I don't like him. No, he's cool. Like the mace. He doesn't want to stay in my hand.
He doesn't want to stay there, does he? He's like, let me at him, let me at him.
There he is. And that is the warband for
there.
There we go. The warband.
Yay!
So we have 3 petitioners. There is the card for the petitioner, so you can see it. There we go. Is that on the camera?
Yeah, that's on the camera.
Yeah, there we go. So feel free to pause that, have a good look at it. We've got the inspired side. Literally, they gain an extra bit of movement. They gain an extra damage dice or attack dice. That's the only thing. To become inspired, as it says on the front, they just die and are brought back. As soon as they're brought back, they come back inspired, which is easy. Dying is very easy. There's 3 of those guys, which are those 2 that we saw before there, and then this guy. Those are the 3 petitioners. Then we have the champion. That is the card for the champion and his stats. So you can see there he gets 2 hammers, 2 damage, an extra health point over the petitioners. That's it. When he comes inspired, he gains an extra damage dice, an extra movement. The Prince of Dust, far from being as quick as I thought he was, from trying to jump out of my hand, he's moving exactly the same. And again, same reason to be inspired is when he dies and comes back, he comes back with extra dice and a bit of extra movement. Oh, extra damage as well. The Harvester, there he is. And again, he starts off with 2 damage. He's got the whirling scythe ability, which means he can hit all models that are adjacent to him. Interesting little ability that he's got. When he upgrades, again, extra movement, extra damage dice, extra attack dice, sorry, and no extra damage on that, just the extra attack dice. We have, finally, the Warden. He's the key to this group entirely. It starts off with 2 movement, 1 dodge dice. It's like the dodge symbol on the defense dice, isn't it? And he's got 4 health. So he's tougher than anybody else. He's still not as tough as a Stormcaster. 2 on range on his weapon because he's got a spear, so he's got a bit more range. 2 hammers on the attack, 2 damage. His actions, he's got 2 of them. You can see them there. That's basically what makes this crew work. So the first one is place a friendly fighter that was taken out of action in the starting hex in your territory and remove all their wound counters. So these are the guys when we're bringing people back. Your second action is to choose 2 other friendly fighters and make move actions with these fighters. So it allows him, because there's a bigger group and you only get 4 actions normally, it allows him to make up for that by being able to move 2 of them. So your movement and obviously your resurrection is all controlled by him. So if he's taken out, it would probably mean that this these guys really become less effective. In order for him to become inspired, all he has to do is resurrect 2 of his guys.
Ah.
When he becomes inspired, so there we go, he gains the extra hammer and the extra damage and an extra movement. There we go. And then the other cards which were in the pack with it, we have these ones here. There's quite a few of them because there's 2 packs. I wonder if the other pack is probably extras. I think this, how many sleeves are there? 39 sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that'll be for these ones, and these others will be extra cards.
Yeah.
Which is cool in a way, but these cards will probably be mainly specifically for the group. There might be a few universal ones, and I'm not looking at these yet. But we have the Battle Without End. Hopefully you can read that. I'm not going to read them all out. I'm just going to go through them quickly. Feel free to pause the video and have a look. Fearless in Death, sorry. March for the Dead. More Able Bodies. Right, so Peerless General. Skills Unforgotten. The Invigorated Dead. Undead Swarm. Bloodless. Crushing Force. Determined Defender. Flawless Strategy. Planter Standard. These are going to the universal ones now. Reaper. Stymed. Swift Advance. Tactical Supremacy 1 and 2. That's if you hold 2 objectives. And these ones are universal ones as well, so you could add these objectives to your other crews. Tactical Supremacy 3 and 4. Harvest Begins. And then we have the upgrade cards. We have the Ancient Commander for the Warden. Assumed Command for the Prince. Deathly Charge for the Champion. We have Frightening Speed, which is Harvester, Champion or Prince. +2 to movement. A big move increase. Grim Cleave for the Harvester. And that just gives him cleave, which is actually quite a good thing. Remembered Shield. Actually, it changes to shields over dodges, and that's the Warden, the Prince, and the Petitioners. And the Undying, an extra wound for somebody. There you go. Those ones are all faction related because they've all got the skull symbol in the top corner. That's what's in the first pack with the character cards. And then in the second pack, okay, we've got Fortify. I imagine all these ones will be universal. I'm surprised if they aren't. Mighty Swing. Trust to Luck. Forceful Denial. Triumphant Roar. Sacrifice. Stumble. Shattering Terrain. Illusionary Fighter. Time Trap. Bone Shrapnel. Ceaseless Attacks. Clawed Hands. Dance Macabre. What's that? Grasping Hands. Restless Dead. Oh, these ones are actually, the last few are actually for these guys. Oh. That's cool. I was thinking with the names, hang on a minute. So, yeah, these changed. Spectral Form. Swift Evasion, so I said Invasion. Terrifying Screams. The Necromancer Commands. Now we've got some more upgrade cards, which is for the Champion, Fatal Strike. Focused Attack for the Harvester. Lethal Lunge, which is for the Warden. And then we've got some more universal stuff for upgrades. Helpful Whispers, Soul Trap, Army of One, Sixth Sense, the Dazzling Key, what's that? Cataphragm's Plate, a relic. This is interesting stuff. The key in this, like proper piece of gear as opposed to skilled. Cunning Duelist, Blessed Armour, Coordinated Attack, and one more. Shade Glass Sword, another actual piece of gear. Right. So those are all the extra cards. So I imagine, again, we've got 39. That'll be the first pack, won't it?
Probably.
Of stuff. So what I'm going to do, let's have a look at the Sepulchral. Is it Sepulchral?
Sepulchral.
Sepulchral. So not Sepulchral, Sepulchral Guard sleeves. There should be 39 of these.
No. There's a bit at the bottom you can open it up on.
Alright, I'll let you do that. And we'll also get these out and we'll have a look at the dice pack. So we're back in 1 second. Okay guys, so we're just back. So quickly I'll show you the dice. I love these purple gem dice. They're cool. And then for the defence dice, we've sort of a grey, smoky colour. Are they all that colour?
I think they are actually, yeah.
So yeah, they've got this grey, smoky colour. All the block defence dice have that colour. The only is different are the attack dice. So yeah, we've got 8 in total. 5 attack dice, like the base game. And then we have the 3 block dice. I think they look nice. I think they're good. You need at least another set of dice, I think, than the main game.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I like the red ones.
It's nice to have a set each. Yeah, if you've got a set per player, should we say, so play a 4 player. Well, show off the red ones.
Those are mine.
Yeah.
Red dice.
You've also got the blue ones. The blue ones are quite nice.
The blue ones are alright.
Obviously your Stormcast dice.
Blue ones.
It shouldn't really matter though. There's no
green ones as well.
That's basically what they are, but they're just coloured dice. So you could get any colour for any. So if you want to paint your undead red, get the red dice to go with them. Yeah. You can always do that. Yeah. I mean, it does say on them that they're for each. They've got Ironskulls dice written on them.
Yeah, and
got, like on the packet.
Death Rattle. And
yeah, it does say Ironskulls Death. But it shouldn't matter. There's no symbols on there that belong to a
No one's going to know.
Colours. I wouldn't be bothered if someone came with any coloured dice as long as
they were the right dice.
Right, so when I went through the cards, obviously you eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed that it doesn't come like the starter set in packs where you got like a starter pack and an add-on pack. It literally is just all the cards. So I've been through and we've put them into the nice, those are the cardboards for the undead. That's the power cards. And that's one from the ejected cards. Do like them, nice. But yeah, let's run back up. But I shall show you which ones I've chosen, because you can only choose 12, and then you can choose about 20, which is a good number to have. And so I'm going to stick with those. Just move my crew out of the way. I've gone all with this. We're going to use ones all from this set. Until we get more into it, and then we can mix and match them with other universal cards. I've gone for Tactical Supremacy 1 and 2. These guys are much more defensive than the other 2 crews we've already played with. So basically they're getting 2, if they all objectives 1 and 2, they'll get 2 points. It's a bit harder than doing 1 objective, but they will get 2 glory points for it. Again, 3 and 4, same thing. Plan Standard, if the leader, the warden, is on an objective in enemy territory, I'll gain a glory point. Determined Defender, I don't know, I turned to Arkwright for me there, sorry guys. Yeah, I did at Granville. Granville, scoreless in an end phase if the same friendly fighter has held the same objective at the end of 2 consecutive action phases. So that's just holding it for 2 turns. Flawless Strategy. Scores in an end phase if you scored 2 or more other objectives in the same phase. I think it's possible you could do that. I did that quite reliably with the Stormcasts. So, you never know. Undead Swarm. Scores in the end phase of each enemy fighter is adjacent to at least 2 friendly fighters. That's going to be dependent on how many guys you got left. But I can see that potentially working. The Invigorated Dead. Scoreless at the 3rd phase if all of your surviving fighters, at least 3 are inspired. I can see that being a situation. Skills Unforgotten. Scores immediately if your leader takes an enemy out of action. He's the most likely to take anyone out of action. So, March of the Dead. Scores at the end phase if all of your surviving models, at least 5, made more actions in the preceding action phase. Move action in the preceding action phase. There's 2 points for that. And with the leader being able to move 2 at a time, I can see that being, if I get that card out, just being able to play that one. Fearless in Death. Score in the third end phase if there is only one friendly fighter on the battlefield. So that's a possibility that will happen. Battle without end. Scores in the end phase of 2 or more friendly fighters return to the battlefield in the preceding phase. That will probably happen at some point during the game. We just hope it coincides with having this card. And Claim City, that's the biggie. I decided to keep this one in now. I nearly didn't and went for some of the others. But I thought if it can be done, and if they are good defensively and can hold objectives, that's a game winner almost. 5 glory points holding 5 or more objectives, basically.
Ah, cool.
But obviously, if the enemy destroys an objective, and there's only 4 on the battlefield,
you're not going to get it.
I'm not going to be able to get that one. But there we go. It's always a risk, the big ones, like Annihilation and stuff like that. I shall quickly flick through the cards that I've chosen. I've tried to go as defensive as possible and keep as many of the actual faction-based cards as possible. But Fortify. Friendly fighters holding objectives have +1 defense for the next activation. That could be useful. Dazzling Key, I like that. This fighter's holding objective 4 in the third end phase. Scored 2 glory points. Again, for holding objectives, scoring points. That's what I'm going for. Necromancer commands reaction placed at the end of a friendly fighter's attack action that fails and make the attack again. Always good to have another go at an attack. Grim Cleave, that's an upgrade for the Harvester. Gives him Cleave, I think we saw that before. Again, we saw most of these earlier on, so I'm not going to read them all out. I need at least one upgrade card for everybody, so I can upgrade some of them. And remembered shield seemed pretty good as well. Ancient Commander, went with those ones. Got Terrifying Screams. Use on any fighter and pushing 1 hex. That could be useful pushing somebody off objective. Swift Evasion, choose 1 friendly fighter and push them up to 2 hexes. Their new position must be further away from all enemy fighters. That's situational, but it could be useful. We'll try and grab objectives again. Restless Dead. Was a friendly fighter that was taken out of action, other than the Warden, on a starting hex in your. And that's just basically an extra res. Just in case we lose the Warden, it gives a card that might be able to res somebody other than the Warden. Grasping Hands. Reduce the movement characteristic of the first fighter to be activated in their next activation by the number of friendly fighters that are not on the battlefield to a minimum of 0. So the more fighters that are off the field, the more of an impact it's going to have. Dance Macabre. Any friendly fighter that makes a move action in the next activation can move 1 additional hex. Again, useful for grabbing the objectives if I want to try and get that last 5-pointer. Clawing Hands. Each friendly fighter that is not on the battlefield is considered to be supporting the first attack action in the next activation. Again, another one for not having models on the battlefield. Forceful Denial. I quite like the sound of this one. Play this when an opponent plays a ploy. Roll a defense dice on a shield or a crit. That ploy has no effect. Oh. That's a universal one. It has a nice picture of a Skaven on it. I imagine that will be a good one to use with the Skaven crew as well when they come out.
Are you assuming that there's a Skaven team coming out?
We know there's a Skaven team. And it should be mine. Ceaseless Attacks. Place in a friendly fighter's attack action. Make an attack action with another friendly fighter. Bone Shrapnel. Place after an attack takes a friendly fighter out of action. The fighter that took them out of action takes a damage point. It's might be enough to wound or kill an opponent. And an Illusionary Fighter. Choose one of your fighters in the battlefield and place them on the starting hex in your territory. Again, that'll be good for movement, which is something that this army lacks. Again, a lot of them are situational. But there we go. That is the Undead, the Sepulchral. How are we saying it? I want to say Sepulchral every time, but it's Sepulchral.
Sepulchral Guard. Yeah.
Sepulchral Guard. I really like the look of these guys. One other thing I wanted to point out was this armour that I looked at before. if you had a good look at this. I didn't when I was showing you it, but it's part of a set. It's a relic set, which basically says if this fighter has 2 or more, it's an upgrade, 2 or more Cataphrene relics, they gain the following cumulative abilities: 2 relics, and during an attack action to target this fighter, they can reroll a defense dice.
Cool.
So there you go. There's no upgrade cost by the looks of it on this.
Doesn't
Mine's
look
just
like
one
it.
glory.
Yeah.
I have to look into that. But the fact is, this is the only one in the set. It needs at least 2 of this set to work. So this is probably the first example. I've not opened the Ironskulls boys yet, but I won't be surprised if there's another part of this set in there.
Probably.
But
yeah.
this is the first example of collecting
Something.
boxes just for the cards
reason.
as opposed to the models. Again, which is an X-Wing feature. For 15 quid, it's about the same price as some of the X-Wing, more expensive X-Wing. I still think it's a bit much for just a card.
Yeah.
So, eBay. Oh, right. Okay, guys, so I'll try and open this. We'll move on to the Iron Jaws. Ironskulls boys. These guys will not be painted yellow, as you may know. They'll be painted with the same colour as the rest of my guys from the Tale of Two Armies. Which people have been asking when the next one of that's going to be, and the answer is when we get more models.
Yes.
When we get Ariel and
the Maw Crusher.
Which is just cost. Games will stop releasing stuff, then I'll be able to afford it. Right. Here we go. So we have some nice green plastic in here. Obviously bigger bases, and only 4 models this time. Same drill, we'll just stick the models together first. With the instructions there, which I'm going to give to Claire. And we have the 2 lots of cards. Whoops. For there and there, which I imagine are made up like this step we just had a look at.
And then we've got the backing.
And we've got the backing for them. And I'll show them now the green dice, green gem dice. I think they're the ones you haven't seen yet. I like the packets. What I could do with is like a small box like this. We're keeping the cards in and the dice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
For like, you know,
if you wanted to take them off somewhere
you want to play in a
yeah.
tournament, you've got like your cards. Like,
your dice.
You know, like you can get for other games where you actually get card holders and dice holders.
They probably will bring those out afterwards, I bet.
I'd be very surprised if they don't.
A little box set for each one, each faction.
What we could do. Thinking about cutting that down maybe and turning it into... Anyway, thinking ahead there. Right, so let's get these Iron Jaws together. Okay, so here we have Basher.
Basher?
The guy with the 2 clubs, basically.
Right.
So what numbers are these?
So that's number 7. The face is number 8.
Yeah.
And this body is number 6.
Yeah.
The back of the body is number 5 and the base is number 9.
Yeah. A few more parts than the Undead, but again that's just a plug into the front. So we'll do that bit first, then we'll put on the ram, then we'll plug him into the base, and then we'll plug onto the head, but I won't glue them on just so they'll stay on basically. But we'll say the skeletons went together very well, better than the starter set I would say. Better
than the Stormcast where you had a massive
bit of a gap.
line. Yeah.
Good to sort that out. But yeah, let's put this guy together. Hopefully, goes together well. Okay, so there we have Basher. Pretty cool. Not sure the camera's like green.
I think you've got because you've got a green background.
Because of the green mat, and then we've got green. There we go.
There you go. That's better.
Maybe a little bit better. Normally the greens are alright if you're filming them, but there we go. He looks pretty cool.
He does actually. He looks awesome.
Yeah. Next up then.
You have.
Actually. There's the green. What have we got? This is Hacker.
So you have 4, which is the base.
Yeah.
You have 2, which is the back of the body.
Yeah.
You have 1, which is the front of the body. And then you have 3, which is the head and the other axe.
Okay. Yeah, so those two parts are going to go together. Then we're going to put on the head and the axe and put onto its base. That seems simple. So let's go ahead and do that. There is Hacker. He's cool, like him. He's got a nice gladiatorial type stance.
Yeah.
Come and have it. Is there anyone else? Are you not entertained? Right. Next up.
Next up you have 13, 11 and 10 and 12. So that's 12, that's 10, that's 11 and 13.
This makes Bone Cutter.
Bone Cutter.
Who is literally 2 parts onto a base and a separate head. So let's do that. Okay, so there is Bone Cutter. Very cool. Nice double-handed weapon there. I do see these guys being properly useful in a Age of Sigmar army as well. Probably none more than the next guy. Who is the boss? It's Gurzag Ironskull.
So you've got 14.
That's just a few parts to him.
15, 16, 17, 18, and that is unnamed. 19.
The unnamed base.
The unnamed base, which is 19, sorry.
Right. So most of this is stuck together on the back. So how does the old cloak go on? Right, so I suggest that goes on last then. So the front arm is going to go on. Is that right? Then we have the arm. We have the head, which is going to go into this slot at the front. On the back then, yeah, there's some slots there. That's where the cloak's going to go on, and then that's going to slot into the base. Let's do it. There he is, the boss himself. That is a nice model, actually.
Very nice.
Would make a good boss model in a...
You would, wouldn't he?
in Ironjaw's army as well. I probably will use him for that, because there's like different... You know, when you use one of the formations and you promote to a boss, probably good in an Hard Boys unit or something. Pretty cool. Right, so that is the crew. We have, we've got to put these in the card holders already, so they might be a bit shinier than the last ones. So Bone Cutter, there he is. 3 movements, 1 shield for defence. He uses shields as opposed to the dodges. 4 wounds, 2 hammers in attack, 2 damage, and basically the same as all the other orcs. If he is damaged at all, he will become inspired just by being damaged. And then obviously the damage goes up there. That's the only difference for him. His damage goes up by 1. Not a massive increase. Better than nothing though. Good for taking those stormcasts out. Basher. Again 3, 1 and 4. And 1, 2 and 1. So not a lot of damage on there. Same upgrade, but he does have orc critical hits. This attack action has knockback 1. So good for knocking people off objectives probably. Using them tactically. His upgrade increases that to 2 damage. Is that an extra dice as well he gets as well? So that's not too bad when he's upgraded. Hacker, again with the 1 damage and the 2 dice. He's got choppers. If you roll at least 1 crit for this attack action, it has cleave. That's pretty good. And when he's inspired, his damage goes up. And his dice went up as well. Yeah, damage and dice, attack dice and damage both go up. Then we have Gurzag Ironskull, the boss. So 3, 1 and 5, so he's got an extra point of health to start with. 1, 2 and 3 are on the old weapon. And when he gets upgraded for exactly the same reason, he gets the ability Boss Choppers. So you can re-roll 1 dice when this fighter makes an attack action. So that's not actually a bad ability. There aren't that many re-rolls that I've noticed so far in the game. So those are the actual models and the rules. So the 2 packs that we've got, again, much like the undead one, these I will just show you on the camera, and then I'm going to pick some to go away in I thought they're wallets, which are the, so the, actually what I'll do afterwards, that's the wallet for the objectives, and that's the wallet for the power cards. Pretty nice, like all the others. So I'll just flick through the cards before we finish the video. But we've got our design as an objective, biggest and the best, Call of the War, Dead Cunning, There's More of Us, Get the Boss, Good Scrap, Punch Up, Too Dumb to Die. Now we've got some universal ones. Blooded, Brawl, Contained, Divide and Conquer, Endless Slaughter, Geared for War, like Gears of War, Ploy Master, Sense of Victory, Superior Tactician, Twilight Conqueror, Victorious Duel, and then we're on to the upgrade cards. So that's all the objective cards. So 1 second. So upgrade cards, this is Hacker and Basher, Ardhead. They can reduce damage by 1 to minimum 1, that's pretty good. Aspiring Boss for Hacker, Crushing Cleave, that's Gerzag and Bone Cutter. Dead Hard, that's Gazag and Bone Cutter. There's a lot of double sort of upgrades for different ones. Quite like that actually. Hacker and Basher, Brutal Frenzy, and Headlong Rush, that's for Basher. Unthinkable, that's for Gurzu.
Unkillable.
Unkillable, that's the Unthinkable one. Unkillable, that sounds like a really good ability actually. During an attack action, a player takes 5 rate of action, they roll defense dice, you roll shields or a balm, it's up with no damage and not taking out of action, then you discard this upgrade. It's a one use wonder. Headbutt for Gerzag. That's 1 lot. And I think all these are poison upgrades. So we've got, come here you, Brutal Swing. Right, come on, cooperate. Dual Strike, Parry, Daylight Robbery, Distraction, Shifting Shards, Duel of Wits, Cruel Taunt, On Your Feet, Anticipation, Misdirection, sounds cool, Having a Good Time, Brutal but Cunning, I thought the next one would be Cunning but Brutal, sorry. Deafening Bellow, sorry. Gorkamoka's Blessing, Cunning but Brutal, there it is, yay! Last Lunge, Leading by Example, More Chopping, Pillage, Scrag'em, Cursed Artifact, Legendary Swiftness, the Shadow Key. So if you remember in the last set there was a key which was objective 4, this is exactly the same but objective 2. So I'm already tempted to now put this into my undead set. So we've got an extra objective ability. And now, as I called it, a Cataphragm's Belt. So the next part of this armour set.
Right.
So I imagine we'll get another one in the Skaven and another one in the Fire Slayers. Then that'll be them all, wouldn't it? So
and then they'll probably start another one.
And they'll get another different ability after that. So we've got Shard Caller, Flickering Image, Shade Glass Darts, Low Blow, Swift Strike, Demonic Weapon. So there's a lot more like a chaos one.
It does actually, these look like chaos.
And Wah to end it off on, which is a card I'm going to have to put in there regardless, whatever it does. The fighter's attack actions with a range of 1 or 2 have +1 damage in a phase in which they make a charge action. Situational. We've got to take it though, it's one. Right, there we go. Those are the 2 new Shadespire crews. We've seen the cards, the backs and the dice. Very cool. Seeing lots back on. I did manage to fit everything, or Claire did manage to fit all the stuff for the Spiral Guard back in there, built, so maybe with a few bits of foam or something on the top, just to keep that, because I can feel the models underneath that. I wouldn't want to transport that.
No.
You could, with like one bit of foam on the top, just transport it like that. That's pretty good.
See, we can do the same with the Ironskulls.
They're bigger models, so maybe not with them, but there's fewer models, so there we go. What do you think?
Very cool. I'm really liking the little add-ons and expansions for a neat little game, really.
It is. I've got a lot of hope for this, actually, this Shadespire.
Yeah.
I quite like... I enjoyed X-Wing. I didn't mind buying the additional odd ship just for a card that I wanted to go into the ship.
Yeah, most of the ships you wanted were the ones that you actually wanted anyway, so...
Yeah, and you know, we're a collector, so we're probably going to want all the models anyway.
Yeah.
I definitely want the Skaven. You've talked about perhaps getting the Fire Slayers.
Yeah.
And obviously they'll hopefully do the...
Hopefully they'll bring out the Twigs.
Seraphon people as well.
As well as the Twigs.
Twig people.
Twig people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. So thanks for watching. We hope you've enjoyed. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. The more people that subscribe, the more people I'll know want to watch the videos. And please leave in the comments anything you want to put in the comments. But thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
See you soon.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.